Welcome to Cutting Edge Technology, and if you believe that, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I want to sell you. Anyway, got my chopper shirt on here for a reason, because what I'm going to do is cut into a motorcycle frame. Lots of times we want to do this for different reasons. The reason I'm doing it for this one, this is an old junk frame, I want a section out of this. Back in the olden days, this is the tool that most of us would use, and you still can use it if you have no other alternative, but it takes a heck of a long time. The opposite end of this spectrum is a lot of pro shops that will have things from plasma cutters to metal cutting bandsaws to all sorts of neat stuff like that, and you're probably not going to have that either. So let's go over some of the things that will work on this. This used to be my tried and true tool right here, good old acetylene cutting torch. The only time I use this now for a job like this is if I can't get to electricity. If I'm in a scrapyard or something like that and I don't have an outlet I can go to and I know I need to chop something up, that's my tool. This is another oldie but goodie. This is a grinder cutoff tool. This will work very well on this too. It's got a couple of problems though. One of it is it's set up for a right-handed guy and I'm left-handed, so it makes it a little awkward for me. The other thing that you need to be aware of too is that these can break pretty easily, and so you need to be very careful with it. So I would have someone kind of work with you the first time. If you've never used these, they can get away from you. You can really hurt yourself with it if you're not careful. Really neat grinding tool though. Believe it or not, this actually would do the job too, and I have used it before. This is just a simple electric jigsaw. This has a wood cut blade, but there are metal cutting blades. I could easily cut this frame too. It'd take a little bit of time, but it still would work. I frequently use this on thinner stocks. If you've got tinware you want to cut, thin pieces of aluminum, stuff like that, or even aluminum plate, this works fairly well. This, however, has become my all-time favorite. Just good old DeWalt Sawzall with a metal cutting blade on it. Again, both the jigsaw and this work great on wood too. It's when I first actually used them and knew about them. Anyway, let me show you how well this will cut into this frame. This is not an accident. This is by design. If you're doing any kind of cutting, by golly, use something like this, especially with a grinding tool, because all sorts of stuff will go. All right, off we go. Now, if I'd been using a hacksaw, I would have just barely made a dent on this. One of the reasons I really like this tool too is it makes a very, very clean cut. You can be extremely precise. Speaking of precision, if you're cutting something like, exhaust pipes or something like that, I wouldn't recommend this because it's just more difficult to control. That's when I use a hacksaw for real thin, precise stuff. If you want to see a good example, take a look at the column this month. I'm working on some shim stock, but the same processes also work very, very well with exhaust pipes and other thin tubular material and stuff like that. Well, until next time, keep on chopping.